Okay, so thank you for joining me, everyone. This is our first Wellness Wednesday call of the year. We're going to be doing this every Wednesday, and every month is going to be an individual theme. Um, and the idea is that you're going to come away every week with an easy, bite-sized weekly plan to step away with at least one thing to just put in your pocket and plan it for your next 6 days. We're going to zoom out every month and look at the bigger picture, and then you'll look at your schedule for the month, and then you'll find where you're going to put in some of the things that might stretch your calendar, or some things that where you just want to take some time and have some quiet time to reflect and go deeper. And like I said, there's going to be a chat box, and I invite you all to unmute anytime to interject and ask a question. I want this to be really interactional, not just another information overload thing where you're feeling overwhelmed, right? It's not about more doing, it's about reconnecting with more of who we want to be. The month of Wellness Wednesday for January is all about reconnecting with who we want to be. So having that vision, and also not just the physical stuff. We tend to carry forward emotions, whether we're aware of it or not, in our body, and it creates stagnation in our major detox pathways and organ systems. And this is kind of stuff that isn't often talked about by our doctor or in the wellness world. And it's kind of, you'll see, I hope you'll understand that it can be really easy to, and things that can save you time and money that can just move the needle on this and like open up ways of restoring that stagnation, or restoring flow to our system. And then that creates a flow in our mental body, in our physical body, our emotional bodies, so that we're showing up better in all aspects of our life. So don't worry if you don't have a notebook to write anything. If you are going to take notes, I recommend just putting down keywords. And then obviously this is being recorded so you can revisit it at any time. And then I also invite you to share it with friends and loved ones. This is something that's free. We're all about building community. And when we do things together, especially with the people that we might spend most of our time with, we tend to have a collective momentum together and lasting change. So this is about building a lifestyle, baby steps, building a lifestyle week after week. So today we're going to explore the gut, and why the gut, the liver, and the gallbladder, and why they're gateways to our hormones, to our energy, to moving stubborn belly fat, or wherever we're keep holding on to things. And it's about emotional balance. It's how we're going to talk about how we can exercise our metabolic switch and get into ketones. We have two fuel sources. Many of you have heard me talk about fasting, and fasting can really ignite our healing switches. Our brain thrives in ketones. Ketones are that other fuel source when we're not eating, in the absence of food, in the absence of about 13 hours, to start getting through that stored sugar in our body, in our bloodstream. And our liver starts producing ketones. Our brain thrives on ketones. So if you're dealing with mental brain fog, or you need clarity on something, highly recommend leaning into these 13 to 17 hour to 36-hour fasts. And before you get all scared and nervous about those numbers, I just want you to know that your body can do things that you're probably not aware of. It's a lot easier than you think. And I will say that the first 24 hours is the hardest. Many of you might know that Dr. Mindy, my mentor, is doing a 3-day water fast at the moment. 75,000 people worldwide signed up for this, which is so cool and so powerful to be doing something in community. And this is another reason why I'm bringing on this community. Mel, did you want to say something?
I'm doing it. I'm on it.
Oh, yay. And where are you with your fast?
I think I'm at 42. It's
That's
getting
awesome.
it's getting hard right now.
And how are you? Yeah, it does. Well, you're finding your biggest challenges now, right now?
Right, I think right now is yeah, the hardest.
Yeah.
It's been pretty easy until right, I feel like right now.
Interesting. No two fasts are the same, even for you. The next time you lean into something like this, it's going to feel different. A
Yeah.
lot of the time, pardon
I
me.
don't know. I don't know if part of it is that so my goal actually was 36. I was like, I'm just gonna do 30, like 72 just sounded like way too much. And I was like, I'm just gonna do 36 and just see how I feel. So maybe that's kind of like in my head, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to stop. But then I'm going, let's see how far I can go, you know? So
Yeah. Well, we know that there's fasted snacks, leaning into minerals, leaning into herbal teas, and you can still, don't beat yourself up if you decide to have like a spoonful of nut butter or something, or a handful of olives to get you to that next milestone. You're going to dim that autophagy, that cellular repair, but you're going to still gain momentum in that fasted state where you're getting more stem cells, you're burning more fat, you're getting more mental clarity from those ketones. So that's not going to throw your fast off. Funnily enough, my goal was as well was to do 36 hours, and I felt so good I kept going. So I popped on a CGM, which is a continuous glucose monitor, like 40 something hours into it. I just wanted to monitor my blood sugar and make sure I was doing okay. You can also measure ketones if you wish. Anyway, I don't want to get into that too much right now, but what I will say is that it's beautiful that your goal was 36 hours, and mine as well. And, you're checking in with your body and you're discovering that you're going further, and celebrate each hour because you're doing wonderful things for your body. It's one of the quickest ways we can, removing the interference in that absence of food, the body's innate intelligence kicks in. And if any of you have been jumping on Dr. Mindy's calls that have been at noon for the last 3 days, they're very motivating, if to say the least. My husband was like, "Who's that barking on the, who's that screaming and yelling?" I'm like, "She's just passionate."
No, and so much knowledge and so much like everything she says is inspiring, like to be able to achieve those things. But
Yeah.
I did 36 a couple months ago, and I definitely noticed a big difference, like physiologically long term. So yeah, and I
Yeah.
would, yeah, I'm excited to see what else can happen with more time. So
Yeah, perfect. So it's all about creating a lifestyle. This is not like a one and done type of thing. We don't go to the gym once. This is metabolically flexing our metabolism. So there's 6 different types of fasts, and what I'm going to invite you today to lean into, part of that weekly program, is to look at your week ahead and pull one of the, whether it's 13 to 15 hours, just intermittent fasting. Pull something like that out of your, we're going to talk about this, something, a weekly rhythm called 4-2-1. 4-2-1 adds up to 7. We're talking about 7 days of the week. 4 days a week, I encourage you to lean into an intermittent fast. Just a side note, Dr. Mindy also talks about this amazing study that followed women, thousands of women around the world, for like 3 or 4 decades, actually. And it was following them post-traditional chemotherapy treatment for breast cancer. And the women that did at least a 13-hour fast every day had a 64% reduction in breast cancer reoccurrence than the women that didn't. And not to say that, this is just a note to explain how powerful fasting can be. It's anti-cancer. So it just gives the body a chance to look at those cells, use its energy that's not being used for, to use the energy that's not being used for digestion to clean up and to recycle cells that might be limping along, that might be, starting to go rogue with a virus or bacteria or, precancerous. So we should all be concerned about that, whether or not we have cancer running in our family or not. The fact is, I was just at a women's wellness conference, and the doctors were saying only 5% of women that had been diagnosed with breast cancer in particular had a family history. So the good news is, if you have a family history, it doesn't have to be part of your story. And the brilliant news is, if you can adopt something as simple as a 13-hour fast every day, you can greatly reduce your chances of getting a diagnosis. So that's what I'll say about that. Any questions? Okay. So we're going to walk away today with a 4-2-1 weekly, oh my gosh, weekly rhythm. So that's 4 days a week. I recommend 13 to 15 hours. That's intermittent fasting. 2 days a week, I encourage you to lean into like a 17-hour autophagy fast. That's where you're really going in and cleaning up cells that might be, no longer serving you. It improves mitochondria, which is the energy powerhouses of every cell. And 1 day a week, don't worry about fasting. No stress about it. Okay, so together, so we're going to go over a lot of information today. And like I said, if you want to take notes, great, but just put down a keyword. And this is recorded. You can come back and visit it. I encourage you to gather a tribe, especially the people that you spend most of your time with, because when people understand the science and the nuances of what you're doing, and that not everyone's on the same track, but there's a common goal, um, we have a ripple effect and we can improve, we get less naysayers and we can improve our momentum and our goals together. So why did you show up today? So I'm going to ask you, like, you showed up today and this is the first step, right? Let's get personal. Like, is it curiosity? Do you want more energy? Is it weight loss? Is it better hormonal balance, better sleep, improved mood and cognition and focus? Are you just feeling stuck and you want to feel better? Or do you know that there's more in you, like more potential to tap into? So if you feel called to, feel free to type that in the chat. Um, if you wish. And then the other thing I'm going to ask is the bigger why. It's not just the number on the scale. It's not just how your clothes fit. It's the confidence you gain, right? It's the confidence that you gain in these moments. So, and it's that vibration that you're emitting when you're walking into a room because your clothes fit better, or because you feel a little bit more sexy, or you're starting to initiate intimacy with your partner or intimacy with yourself because you're feeling more alive. So, self-love is the greatest gift. And also, I will say forgiveness is the greatest gift, which we will touch on today. So you're here because you want more energy, possibly. Melanie's sharing she wants to be the healthiest she's ever been in her life. And yes, and that is exactly uh, possible and beyond your wildest imagination. So it's fun not even to put a cap on it because sometimes we're limiting ourselves by our imagination. The main goal is to sleep well. Well, that's good because sleep is one of the most rapid things that people can see improvements in, and the things that we're going to start implementing in our lives. And thank you, Delphine. For the she loves to hear everything I have to share. Okay, I love it. Well, I'm going to keep sharing, so I'm hard to keep quiet. Okay, so more joy, more confidence, more connection, and more purpose. So maybe you just want to feel like yourself and it's been a while since, what used to work in our lives stopped working, or maybe, we've gone through some life transitions or loss or change and we're just feeling a little off and we're trying to find our grounding and our footing. So I invite you, we're going to step into a little bit of a grounding meditation and just to set some intention. So now that you've thought about maybe some keywords that you're hoping to tap into more of, I invite you to take a deep breath, roll your shoulders back, maybe soften your gaze or close your eyes. You can place one hand over your low belly and one hand over your heart. And really, I invite you to just get out of your head. You might hear some things that are going to challenge mainstream ideas or perceptions or old, thoughts and programming. So I encourage you to bring that energy into your body, into your belly, the womb of creation, our creative life force energy, and just feel where this lands in your body. So January, especially January, we just come out of the holidays, a lot of the chaos. January is about pushing harder. It's about remembering how to just be and how we want to be, like showing up with more peace, calm, and grounded and centeredness. Um, so I invite you to just breathe slowly, take a few deep belly breaths, and just, without forcing anything, just let your shoulders drop. Just relax any tension in your body that you might be carrying, just 1% more. And all I ask is that you give yourself permission to release any shame, blame, guilt, maybe even, holding grudges or resentment. So let anything like that go. And if you don't feel any of that, just invite more joy, peace, and levity to your life, more humor, more play. Okay. And then, and just notice your breath. And you might notice some tingling in some areas of the body. You might notice just a gentle softness, or maybe the corners of your mouth turn up in a gentle smile because you've shown up for yourself today. Um, so I want to talk to you something about energy and emotions because we often get caught up in the physical part of vitality and energy and hormones and the symptoms because it feels very physical. Um, but I want to talk about energy because what drives your decisions, your emotions, and what are emotions? They're energy in motion. Your beliefs, culture, upbringing, childhood expectations, our relationships. These are the decisions that create our energetic state. It creates our vibration and how we just walk into a room and the vibration that we're emitting, the tone that we take with our loved ones when we have conversations, just, how you show up, and maybe it's just listening half the time. but you can have an amazing energy and presence. I feel your energy, even though I can't, it's not so much a two-way conversation, but I'm feeling it right now. So energy is the invisible thing that changes everything. So the reason why I'm touching on this is because the toolbox that we're going to talk about is really going to move the energy that might be causing stagnation or holding on to the past, the subconscious stuff that we're bringing into our present and stuff that we want to let go of and might be a roadblock, an invisible barrier to how we want to be, feel, and where we want to come from in our conversations and how we show up in life. Does anyone have any questions right now? Did anything come up about anything that I've talked about so far? Okay. So emotions and energy carry weight. And when they aren't processed, whether that's on a conscious level or on a level where we're unaware, it becomes stagnation in the body, in the tissues, in our organs, in our detox pathways. And this January, we're talking about our gut, our liver and gallbladder, and specifically. And when we hold on to these invisible energetic blocks, or if it's something that we're aware of, it can show up as inflammation, fatigue, insomnia, or disrupted sleep, not waking up feeling completely rested, even though we feel like, we slept, 7 hours, 8 hours. Energy crashes in the afternoon, needing caffeine in the morning, absolutely needing caffeine to get your day going or relying on it in that afternoon slump. These are all indications that your body is stagnant, that there is something holding you back in your gut, liver, and gallbladder. And for those of us that might not have a gallbladder, that's very common. There's a lot we can do, and you still need to address that energy of the gallbladder. It can show up as brain fog and mood swings, irritability, frustration, fear, anger, easily triggered. These things show up when our liver is stagnant and bile could be sluggish. So I want to let you know that none of this is about perfection, and this is all about building a lifestyle week by week. And the idea is that we come together, we share the wins, we celebrate the challenges, and we support each other. And it's about being heard and seen, because a lot of that is, sometimes we fall through the cracks of mainstream care because the doctors and the blood tests don't show what's really going on. It's hard to test for emotional stagnation on a blood test. So, and even if something's circulating and it looks good in the bloodstream, we're not really sure what's getting absorbed by your glands, by your major organs, by your nutrient absorption. So, instead of spending money on all these expensive tests, I really like to spend our energy and resources on what can just create flow and surrender and building a relationship with your body that builds trust and that you feel more confident in the body that you're living in. Does that sound good? Okay. So the idea is that you're going to feel, these are the things that I want you to attach for the outcome of what we're moving through. More flow in your life, less resistance, more clarity, less brain fog, more opportunity, being in the right place at the right time with the energy and the mental clarity to see the opportunities, and more joy. So your metabolic power, when you stop eating, so for 13 hours, you're depleting that stored glucose and your body starts to you're depleting the glucose in your bloodstream. Your body starts to go and find it in fat and in your muscles. So, and then around, 17 hours to 36 hours in that window, your body starts producing ketones. In fact, they're produced in your liver. And this is the other fuel source that your body has that your brain thrives in. So this is, if you're fearful or if you even, don't want to deal with mental decline, cognitive decline, Alzheimer's, dementia, brain fog, getting into this ketogenic state, ketones, creating these ketones in your liver is very much a lifestyle that can help avoid a diagnosis in that department. So increasing dopamine, ketones increase dopamine, which is that feel-good, happy neurotransmitter, which creates motivation, connection, and drive. Also increases, intimacy, wanting to connect with your loved ones, and just, whether that's an intimate thing or just being more social. It increases GABA in the brain, which it creates more calm and clarity. If you're wanting to learn new concepts or just retain more information and improve memory, GABA is amazing for that. And also, GABA is amazing for rewiring the brain. So, rewiring around these default patterns that are keeping us stuck. Are there any questions at the moment? Okay, so ketones are a better fuel for the brain, boosting focus, libido, memory, mood, and emotional resilience. So, how do we do this? A simple 13 to 15-hour fast a day. And that is not difficult. I will say that you can, most of it's done while you sleep. So if you move your dinner an hour earlier and then you push your breakfast out an hour later, you're probably in that time zone. So it's very simple. So like I said, the 4-2-1 rhythm is this is how we do it gently, sustainably, and powerfully. So if you're experienced fasting, or if you're one that carries snacks in your purse, which was used to be me, and I used to snack all the time in between meals, it's all doable. So 4 days a week, we're going to lean into a 13 to 15-hour fast, better hormonal balance, steady energy, metabolic flexibility. So avoiding those metabolic conditions like pre-diabetes and even helping with cortisol and insulin resistance, which is all related to diabetes, and also fatty liver disease. So even non-alcoholic fatty liver, for those of us that may not even drink alcohol, is affecting 1 in 3 people, even children. It's really unfortunate. It's the high processed foods and this constant snacking that's behind this, and we need to address this. So share this information with your loved ones. 2 days a week, we're leaning into a 17-hour fast. So that could just be, anything over 15 hours, 2 days a week. If you can do a 17-hour fast, wonderful. That's the autophagy fast, where you're starting to get into fat stores and you're improving brain clarity. It's anti-cancer, antiviral, antibacterial. And 1 day a week, don't worry about fasting, it's just if you happen to break your fast in 12 hours, have at it. But the overall picture is that and these don't have to be consecutive days. It's just looking at your week ahead and going, where can I plug in a 13 to a 15-hour fast? And mostly that's doable. And it could be, like I said, doesn't have to be consecutive. 17-hour fast. Look at where you can plug in a 17-hour fast. And that could just be moving dinner a couple of hours earlier and skipping breakfast and having a later lunch. There's an art and science to fasting, and we will cover that as well. As we progress month after month, this month of January is focusing on the gut, liver, and gallbladder. We're always going to be focusing on the gut and liver because they have a major role every single day. They're heavily taxed. Our liver has 500 roles a day to keep us alive, and it always needs some love. We live in an environment that could always benefit our gut. But in February, we'll be moving on to the lymphatic system as well, just to let you know. We're going to be moving through all of our major organ systems. March will be our lungs, and kidneys will be in April. Okay, so the power of forgiveness, and this is something very closely related to the emotions of the liver. And the liver stores more than toxins. It stores anger, frustration, grief, and unspoken stories. And that's why we have a heavy, we can bring our past into our future. It could be generational, it could be ours not to carry. We can bring our friends, baggage with us. So whether we're aware of it or not, our liver is doing a lot, not just physical. And our gut is related to bringing, if we're having digestive issues and it's sluggish, or if we're constipated frequently, it could mean that we're not letting go of past things and we're trying to carry it forward, or we're not trusting and surrendering to the future. So this is all about giving yourself and your body permission. Don't be afraid to talk to your liver, and at night, just massage it. Get your favorite oil and give yourself a little self-love. It takes a minute or two, and just rub over your liver, which is your lower right side under your floating ribs there, and your gallbladder is right next door. And just thank your liver for doing its job, and just quietly ask your liver to release whatever it's holding on to that it doesn't need to hold on to anymore. Release the stories, release any sort of, forgiveness to ourselves for anything. You don't even have to be aware of what it is. You just say, I love you, and I forgive you for not trusting you or not for just anything. You don't even have to say it. Just say, I forgive you, I love you, and I appreciate you. I know that sounds a bit funny if you've never heard this before, but it really is amazing. The body responds, the cells are listening. So just know and trust the process. If you don't believe it yet, just borrow my faith and know that you're you'll feel the benefits. It'll show up in your skin. It'll show up in how you respond. It'll show up in your emotions. It'll show up in feeling less triggered. You'll be able to speak your truth and be heard and seen with your loved ones without having the same over and over conversations that you feel like you're hitting a brick wall with. Does anyone relate to that? I know I have before. Anyway, you find new ways of having conversations, the difficult ones and the ones where you feel like things that have been left unsaid that you wish you would have said, even if it's a positive conversation. So, and calling up an old friend that may you feel like you were holding a grudge against and writing them, telling them that, asking for forgiveness or giving forgiveness. I think it's such a beautiful exchange of energy. And why I say it's the biggest gift is because your body really physically, emotionally, mentally changes when you release when you release those heavy emotions that you don't need to carry forward. So I ask that maybe we just, stay away from heavy foods, heavy processed fried foods, anything with a label on the box, probably not, unless there's like 2 or 3 ingredients in there, it's probably fine. But more or less, try to eat food as if it came out of the ground, what it looks like in nature, and I suggest to stay away from dairy. Conventionally grown dairy and meats are heavily loaded with antibiotics, and dairy tends to create dampness and sluggishness in the body. So if you can, if you just can't live without your cheese, try to find something that's non-conventionally grown, so it's antibiotic free. Usually that could be a European cheese, or goat cheese is gentler on the system. Trader Joe's has some options if you can't part with your cheese. Um, so here's what I'm suggesting. So 4 days a week, we've got this fasting protocol, right? I'm gonna pull up a, a table that you can take a screenshot with, either with your camera or on your phone, that gives you a cheat sheet. So you can match your symptoms with outcomes that you desire. And even if you don't have any symptoms, it's look at the outcomes and lean into that. Cast Okay, castor oil pack is something that's one of my favorite go-tos. It's a something that you can do in your sleep, and it helps. It penetrates deeply, and it helps the liver and the gallbladder do its job, and the bile. So, and it helps with elimination in the morning, and it also helps with the nervous system. So, just the physical wrap of this castor oil pack on the body can relax the nervous system, as well as helps with elimination in the morning. The castor oil absorbs deeply and it's very nourishing. You can research, there's a lot of benefits to that. So give your body, when you give yourself a little love over your liver, give your body permission to let go. And then when bile is flowing, so bile is something that's created in the liver and it's held in the gallbladder. The gallbladder is the bladder for the gallbladder for the bile. And then it's held there to get released when you have a fatty meal, or it helps absorb fat soluble vitamins in the intestines. And it also helps regulate parasites. So it keeps that pH, because it's keeping a proper pH in the intestinal tract, so that it's optimizing your terrain. That's the other thing that's very important with everything that we're doing, is allowing the body to up level the terrain so that it's more resilient to everyday stress, toxins, and it's not about being perfect. So when we fall off the wagon and enjoy, whatever it is, the indulgence, our body bounces back quicker. We all have a different size toxic bucket, right? So even siblings born in the same family, one person can get away with murder, the other person really needs their 9 hours sleep every night and can't deal with, maybe having a donut or something or fatty foods could make them feel really terrible. Whereas the other person can, stay up, not get great sleep, have a few glasses of wine and feel great the next day. So we all have different toxic buckets, and that's why there's no one size fits all. We need to meet our bodies where we're at and have a lifestyle that, this is all about building a lifestyle that when we understand what our body is telling us, these are the whispers, the symptoms that we get. And then we have a toolkit. This is what we're building together of things that we can pull out of our toolkit to optimize. And Delphine's asking, how often can we do a castor oil pack? You could do it nightly. And I recommend doing it. I do it nightly. I travel with it. There's nights when I forget to do it, but I usually have it out by my toothbrush. And then it's in, whatever's in line of sight is usually something where I'm already habit stacking something. So I always brush my teeth sitting right there, and then I'll remember to do it. If I don't like doing it at night, it's not the sexiest thing to wear. I sleep in my birthday suit, so sometimes it's, but if you're sleeping in your PJs, no one knows it's there. But you can also wear it during the day for a couple of hours. And but you're in Chinese medicine, your liver time is like, I think it's like 2 to 3 in the morning, something like that. And so it's a nice time to give that extra support when your liver's, working hard to clean the system. And it also makes for great full elimination in the morning. So if you feel like you eliminate okay, but you don't feel like you're getting a full elimination, the castor oil pack can be really beneficial with that. And elimination is a great way how we eliminate not only excess waste, obviously, and toxins, but also excess hormones. Like estrogen is so important to release, and it comes out in our stool. We don't want to recycle it and have things sitting in our intestines longer than they should be, because then we start, things get started recycling and circulating in the body. One quick thing I will say about stubborn belly fat or wherever we're holding fat, there's, often if we're feeling like bloated and puffy in our neck, that's cortisol neck. So we need to look at our stress and adrenals. So breath work, humming, walks on the beach, spending time in nature, taking a few minutes throughout the day just to hum your favorite song. Like I talked about this a lot. So belly breathing with, separating your teeth and exhaling through your nose and creating that hum sound, that vibration in your sinuses creates nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a powerful antioxidant, improves blood flow to those vital organs, and also cleans the system naturally. We don't have to outsource our vitality to external tools all the time. So did I get off on a tangent? Are we following? Okay, so we're looking at, and now I'm going to get into some tools we can augment. So some of us, like Melanie's been leaning into this 36-hour fat burner reset. She's getting into ketosis. Melanie, have you noticed your brain has become more mentally clear, sharp? How's your cognition feeling? Do you notice any difference there?
I felt really clear this morning, but then, like right now, I'm feeling very foggy, actually.
Okay, well, maybe it's because I'm overloading you with too much information.
No, it was before I came on.
Okay. Okay. Well, another tool that you can lean into right now is minerals. If you haven't already, I highly recommend either Celtic sea salt or Baja Gold, or bean minerals are my favorite. Just having, you can have it in water, and you put enough into where, if you're using salt, you put enough into where you taste salt. That's how much salt your body needs. So do that if brain fog, the electrolytes and minerals can really help clear that. Um, and maybe just going for a little bit of a walk and moving the body, or Dr. Zach's 4-minute like air squats, jumping on a trampoline. This can improve BDNF, which are neurotransmitters for the brain, especially, produced in the gut. And the liver helps us when it's in that ketogenic state to improve our firing in the brain. So those are some tools that you can lean into. So just so you know, I'm like 60s. Wait, what time is it? I think I'm around 66 or 7 hours into a water fast. I have had fasted snacks. So I want you to know this is not about perfection or pushing the body too much. I have had a couple of tablespoons of sauerkraut. I have had, 3 or 4 olives, I think 2 or 3 times. I'm leaning into herbal teas, my minerals. Because I'm wearing this, my alarm went off when I was at 55 level blood glucose of 55. And if you dip to 50, that's when you need to break your fast. And my alarm went off at 55. And so it was at 4:30 in the morning. I got up and I took a date, and I had like a bite of the date, and I had a spoonful of broccoli sprouts, and I had a bite of an avocado. And what else did I have? I took my date to the bedside table because I thought I might need to nibble on it in a little bit. But I watched my blood sugar for like 20 minutes, but I wanted to go back to sleep. I could feel my heart palpitating, and that can usually be quelled by having the minerals, and it's very quick action. So that helped me. My blood sugar spiked. It went up to 80. Technically, if something, you know, so it didn't really break my fast. I mean, if you want to get into the nitty-gritties, Dr. Mindy says if something breaks your blood sugar by 10 points in a 30-minute or 90 minutes after having a fasted snack, then that broke your fast. But because my blood sugar was so low, I got up to like 74. And I wasn't too worried about it breaking my fast. I'm going to continue. So tonight will be my 72-hour mark. And if I feel good, I'll keep going. If I don't, then I won't. So it's just about leaning in, trusting your body, surrendering to the process. This is all about building a relationship with your body, um, because big pharma and there's nothing wrong with medicine. There's a time and place for it, even if it's a temporary fix. But I have a problem with these long-term lifestyle, like forever medications that people get put onto, because most of that is preventable with lifestyle modifications as simple as intermittent fasting. So it doesn't have to be these crazy long fasts. So what I want to say to that is, I just want you to know that together every week we're going to be building a lifestyle that is optimizing your individual, meeting your body where it's at, and optimizing your ability to thrive and feel the best you ever have in your life. So that's my wish for you, and I want you to lean into that. So whether this next 7 days you're just leaning to a 13 to 15-hour fast, perfect. Every week is an opportunity to grow and stretch your limits, because we know that we don't grow and elevate in our comfort zones. We do have to step into areas that stretch us. So this is where those 15, 17-hour and 24-hour fasts will come into play. And then we can layer in ZenCleanz. Many of you have heard me talk about it. And this is really the reason why I love ZenCleanz so much is because it's a terrain optimization. It doesn't go after the body in a forceful way. It nourishes each organ system's function. So it helps your body function at a higher level so that you're more resilient to stress. Your body's producing age-appropriate hormones. You're more resilient to everyday toxins, and that you're building strength and vitality from within. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. Yay.
I so
So,
I have one question
sure.
about intermittent fasting. I have been doing intermittent fasting for years. Um, and but I just not too long ago heard that women should not be like basically like cardio fast or fast doing fast cardio because when we do that, our bodies go start to eat the muscle. And
Okay.
so that we should have protein before exercise. And I always exercise in the morning.
Okay. So there are so okay, there's everyone's depending on what your goals are. So your goals are to build muscle.
Yes.
Okay. And if you are so if your goals are to build muscle and you also want to lean out, right? You want lean muscle and you want to get
Yeah.
rid of the unnecessary fat storage units. So sometimes when we work out and we're doing all the things and we still have stubborn belly fat, have you ever been there?
Yes. That is my story.
Okay. I've been there too. And so we have our metabolic system is sugar burner mode or fat burner mode. And when we're in a fed state, we're going to use the body's first source of fuel is going to be using what's circulating in the blood. So if you have sugar circulating in the blood, by sugar, anything that passes your lips is going to produce blood sugar in the blood. And that's going to be its preferred fuel source. If you go to a weightlifting class or you're going to build muscle and you don't have any stored glucose, circulating glucose in the blood from a fed state, if you are 13 to 15 hours into a fast, your body's going to start pulling out that stored glucose from the muscles. And that's called glycogen. That's a healthy body response. You start using the fuel in your muscles,
Right.
which is also where stored fat is. And so when you start, you're going to get leaner muscles and stronger muscles, and you're going to get faster results. So if you always check in with your body, if you happen to be in a 17-hour fast, a 36-hour fast, and you're ready to go work out in the morning to do your muscle building activity, Um, you're going to start pulling stored from now that you've gone through the glycogen in your muscles, you're going to start pulling from the storage fat units. And the reason why you plateau because you have excess, well, is twofold. When the liver is overwhelmed, it's going to prioritize keeping you alive.
Hmm.
So it's not going to produce ketones and it's going to put excess toxins, excess fat, excess hormones, cortisol belly. Have you heard of cortisol belly? It's gonna put it into those fat storage units away from your vital organs so that it can do its job of keeping you alive. It's the body's innate wisdom intelligence. It's brilliant. But if your goal is to get rid of that stubborn belly fat, and to support the liver to be able to handle everyday maintenance, process all the everyday exposures, and pull from those storage units. It needs to feel safe. So you need to work on two things, your nervous system. So you need to do a little bit of breath work beforehand, like 2 or 3 minutes. Tell your body, I'm ready to burn through this stored fat and thank your liver for doing its job and work with your body's innate intelligence in that fasted state to lift up those weights if you're feeling like you have the strength to do it, because there's a time in a woman's cycle, whether you're postmenopausal or not, where you're going to need ebb and flow. There should be a week where you don't lift weights. You're going to go more nurturing stuff like yoga, walks, gentle stuff. And then it's just like anything else, you need to rhythm everything. Then there's weeks where you can, pick up those heavy weights and push yourself out of your comfort zone and do the reps that are hard. You can barely finish the last rep because that's where you're stretching, growing, and building the muscle. So did that make sense? Like, does it make sense? Did I answer that? So it's like you need the nervous system to feel safe. You need the liver to have less of a toxic burden so it feels safe to pull the toxins out of those fat storage units. Because if it doesn't feel safe and the toxic bucket's too high, you're only going to work against your body because it's not going to feel safe enough to get into those fat reserves. So it's okay to work out in a fasted state to build muscle. You can lean into something called perfect aminos. These are I have a full script account and get you a discount on that. They will not break a fasted state. So before you go and work out, you can have their I think the tablets are most convenient. There's a powder form as well. And I don't like the flavored stuff because I never know why it's flavored and what it's flavored with. So I just get the non-flavored pills. You swallow them, and that could be your fasted snack before you work out. That's going to give you the complete aminos to help boost muscle growth and repair. And then post workout, say you're breaking your 36-hour fast, but you want to work out and you're probably in that whatever range, 40-hour range, and you're going to work out with the weights. And then make sure it's always so fasting, fasting isn't, the technical term of fasting isn't about calorie deficit. It's about expanding your shrinking your eating windows and expanding your fasting windows without food to work with your metabolism and get into that ketogenic state and get into sugar burning state. You shouldn't always be in ketosis and you shouldn't always be in sugar burner. That's a metabolically healthy body. That's what we're building here in this community. So to build muscle, make sure you're getting enough protein in your eating window post your workouts to support protein. So it's probably going to look like, everyone's different because I don't know how much muscle you want to put on. Everyone's metabolism's a little different, but I would safely suggest 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal in that eating window. And I'm assuming you're going to have 3 good balanced meals. So that's 90 grams of protein a day. And postmenopausal women, you hear about this, what is it? Some like 120 grams if you're per ideal weight per gram per ideal weight. I I think that's overinflated. I think the protein craze is a little out of hand, but you have to see what works for your body, and you're your own N of one study, meaning you've got to try on what fits for you. So, does that make sense? And did that answer your question?
Yeah, it gave me more information yeah,
Yeah. So
understand.
basically, you can have a little bit of protein beforehand that won't break your fast in perfect aminos. You can have something called energy bits. That doesn't break a fast. And then if you feel strong enough, you don't really want to supplement that way and you just want to lean into whole foods, just post workout meal, have something where you're getting like 20 to 30 grams of protein in.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because when you work out, the idea of working out is breaking down muscle so that it rebuilds. So
Right.
the idea of working out and actually eating your muscle away, I mean, you would have to be doing some gnarly workouts to have a long-term effect like that. Like I can't imagine that, that's going to be a thing long term.
Okay.
But when we work out with weights, it could be I think we don't always need to be working out for an hour. I think it could be like lifting to fatigue, doing 3 reps of lifting to fatigue, where the 12th rep of that third, 3 sets are almost impossible to finish that rep. And
Yeah.
that's where you build muscle. A
Right.
lot of the times we're picking up those 5, 10 pound weights and it's
Mm.
like you're not seeing the growth because you're not lifting heavy enough.
Yeah.
Um, was there any other question that came out of that information?
No, I think I have a clearer understanding now.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, sure. Um, Anyone else have a question? I just want you to walk away with a 4-2-1 rule, a 7-day plan for what you're going to try on for size until we meet next Wednesday. So whether that's your goal is just 13 to 15 hours a day until then, whether your goal is to lean into some ZenCleanz. So I'm going to share my screen right now. And I'm going to open up this table that I created. And I encourage you to either take a screenshot with your phone or use your phone to take a photo of it. Um, Let me see. Share screen. Share screen. And this is your cheat sheet to refer to. This is something I encourage you to please share with friends and loved ones because, like I said, anytime you're trying something new, there's going to be people in your life. They're going to be like, "What? You're going on a 72-hour water fast? You're crazy." If they don't understand the science, they don't understand the nuance, how to do it as a woman or how to do it in your cycle, or they're going to think you're absolutely nuts. And honestly, coming from my background of understanding biology and chemistry in the body and what our body does, originally I was thinking I was nuts. Like, there's no way. But you will be amazed at how powerful and liberating it can be. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, I wish it was bigger.
Okay, I'm gonna make it really big and then it might have to just be done in chunks. Is that better?
N no, I feel like that's too big.
Too big. Okay, let me go. Thanks for the feedback. I appreciate it. Here's one. Is that better?
Yeah, I mean, so is this, are you going over it with us right
Yeah,
now
yeah,
or
I'm gonna go over it.
okay, okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna scroll down and so just take a screenshot or a photo if you can. So basically, here's my contact info. You got my email and you can find me on Instagram. Um, because you can watch some of my little short clips. Some of them are helpful. And if you like it, please comment on it because that'll help me understand what's helpful for you. Um, we talked about the castor oil pack and I recommend 4 to 5 days a week, at least. I do it every night, mostly. There are nights when I don't, but it's okay. It's not about being perfect, right? What it helps with hormonal balance because it's helping the liver. It helps with bloating, constipation, liver congestion, irritability, and poor sleep. Anyone have any of those symptoms? Okay, so this is something you can do in your sleep. I trust Queen of Thrones. That's the brand I use. You want to make sure it's in an amber bottle. You want to make a glass bottle. You want to make sure it's third-party tested and organic. That's why I trust Queen of Thrones. Um, the emotional benefits. Emotional release. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly because we've got about 8 minutes left. I want to respect everyone's time. Emotional release, less resentment, feeling lighter, more patience. And if you could comment in the comments, because I'm going to read them before we wrap up. As I'm going through this, just say a word or two that is landing with you because this helps me focus on where we're going. Some benefits for the mind, calmer mind, less looping thoughts, easier stress recovery, physical benefits, better bile flow. So your pH in your system is So you're more resilient to toxins and candida and stuff that's going to bloat you and cause you digestive issues. Better sleep and a flatter belly. Who doesn't want a flatter belly? Okay, 13 to 15-hour fast. Why? Well, I'm recommending this 4 days a week. Doesn't have to be consecutive. It can help with energy crashes, reliance on caffeine, cravings, weight gain, inflammation, mood swings. You get more stability, less emotional reactivity, better focus, steadier mood, fewer cravings, and for blood sugar balance, fat burning, and hormonal regulation. 1 day a week, I recommend a 17-hour autophagy fast. This means self-feeding. You're cleaning up cells that are limping along with poor energy production that might be infected with a virus or a bacteria that could be precancerous. You're getting better brain fog, releasing stubborn belly fat, inflammation and fatigue, feeling clearer, more grounded, emotionally set, better memory, mental clarity, faster learning. So it's improving that GABA in the brain. So if you're trying to retain information, improve memory, lean into that 17 hours. Cellular repair, anti-aging, inflammation reduction. Following? Everyone good? Okay. 24-hour reset fast. This can be something you do once a month, once or twice a month. It's been proven to add 8 to 12 years to your health span, meaning less chronic conditions as we age. Who doesn't want that? So it's the gut reset fast. It's less bloating, gas. It's resetting the microbiome. It's improving immune response, better skin, anxiety. Oh my gosh, I'm 60 something hours and my skin is, I can see it in my eyes. My skin's glowing. And that's nice. It's I can get dull skin and I love having a naked face. I have makeup on right now, full disclosure, but when even first thing in the morning, I notice my skin is looking more radiant and I love that. So feeling safe in the body, less overwhelm. So these are the things that can happen when we lean into a 24-hour fast. Improved gut-brain connection, calmer nervous system, and the microbiome reset. The microbiome is not just in our gut, it's our mouth to our other end. It's also on our skin. It's in every cell of our body. The microbiome also is the communication network to our external world. It also communicates to our DNA what genes to turn on and off. So our microbiome is so important. And I recommend getting in your fermented foods, your polyphenols, and your prebiotics, probiotics. These are whole foods, veggies, and everything to feed that microbiome. The more diverse your microbiome is, the happier you are, the more resilient to stress, the better response you have to your immune system and happy, feel-good hormones and better mood. So 24-hour gut reset fast saves time and money. You're not cooking, you're not spending money on food. 36-hour fat burner. This is something for people that have experienced in fasting. You might want to lean into in your first week or save it sometime this month. Zoom out, look at your 30 days left of January and figure out where you're going to plug these tools in. Sound good? Ketones is that, 17 to 36 hours is somewhere where people start producing ketones and everyone's different. Some people take longer to get into ketones than others, but ketones is that fat burner metabolic system of your body. So you're going to reduce belly fat. You're going to reduce fatty liver issues. You're going to boost your energy and focus, and you're going to increase confidence, motivation, and emotional resilience. Ketones power the brain. Your brain's going to thrive on ketosis. You're going to get mental clarity, dopamine, which is, happy, feel good connection, increase libido, and feel more calm and at peace in the body. And then deep fat loss, liver detox, and hormone reset. And so I invite you to lean into 36 hours once a month. That was my goal and Melanie's goal for this, and we both felt great, so we kept going. You just check in with your body. You're your own study, your own N of one study. So just always trust the process and check in with your body. I'll go.
Trish,
Yes.
I don't know if you saw my question, but I was saying if you don't have a glucose monitor, is there any other way to detect if your sugar's dropping too much?
That's a wonderful question. Thank you for asking it. So yeah, if you feel dizzy, if you feel dizzy, shaky, have a fasted snack. A spoonful of nut butter without a bad seed oil or sugar in it will do it. That'll raise your blood sugar. If you feel, mostly if you're on the couch and you can't get up, if your heart starts beating out of your chest, usually minerals, a quick fasted snack can get you out of that. Maybe going for a light stroll around the block, taking your dog for a walk. These things, so basically if you feel faint, If you can't even lift up your arm, it's time to break your fast or have a fasted snack. Don't be afraid of the fasted snack. It dims autophagy, that, cellular repair, but you still get some of the benefits of the milestone benefits of the extended fasts. Does that answer the question, Delphine?
Yes.
Okay.
If you collapse, eat something.
Don't collapse. Don't get there though. If you sit down and you stand up quickly and you start feeling dizzy, that's adrenal fatigue, that's mineral imbalance, and that's too low of blood sugar. But you'll feel it first. The first signs of a low blood sugar are when you sleep, I wouldn't worry about it. If this didn't wake me up at 4:40 this morning with my alarm at 55, if my blood sugar at 55, there's something called oh my gosh, what is it called? The dumping effect. It's called the dawn effect. The dawn effect of the liver in the morning. It happens at the end of liver time, like probably 3, 4 in the morning, and your blood sugar will naturally spike. It's your body's brilliance, intelligence to kind of start ramping up cortisol for you to get motivated for your day. So that's totally normal. I'll have people that go to bed, they're wearing a CGM and their blood sugar is somewhere in the 80 range at night. They'll go to bed, they'll wake up, and all of a sudden their blood sugar is like in the 90 range or something, or maybe their blood sugar is in the 70 range and they wake up and their blood sugar is in the 80, 90 range and they're like, what the heck? I haven't had anything to eat. Why did my blood sugar spike? Am I out of my fasted state? Well, no, this is your body's innate intelligence that started producing ketones for a fuel source, and you started to dump stored sugar out of the liver. So you're listening your fatty liver and you're improving your liver function. Your body's innate intelligence dumped that sugar out of the liver as a healing action. So the dawn effect, you can research that. It's amazing and it's totally natural. And I highly recommend you put your body into a state where you're doing this on a regular basis. Does that make sense? So break your fast if you're feeling dizzy or lightheaded with a spoonful of nut butter. You can lean into like a quarter of a small avocado as a fasted snack. Anything under 20 grams of protein. Dr. Mindy even says you can have like a small cup of bone broth. I've got these bone powder. I just for the first time I usually make my own bone broth or get it from Trader Joe's, but I bought these, they're like individual serving sizes, like a stick, and it has the powder of bone broth in it. And there's 20 grams of bone broth in there. So I'll just do half of the powder, which I made this morning, but I didn't have it yet because I have it sitting on the stove because I thought I needed it I was looking at my blood sugar, but my blood sugar had the dawn effect and I was fine. Does that make sense? So trust your body, tap into your innate intelligence, listen to your body. Your body is so wise and it always is telling us what it needs. So don't be afraid of a spoonful of nut butter. Am I missing any other questions in the chat? Okay, I know we're at the top of the hour and I'm going to be really, really quick. So on top of just turning on our healing switches and our metabolic switch with going into ketosis with fasting and lowering and optimizing our gut and our liver with fasting, here are some tools that require an investment from ZenCleanz, but honestly, it's probably one of the best investments you can ever give yourself. Besides forgiving yourself emotionally and stepping up for yourself, those are the first 2 steps. And ZenCleanz is something that optimizes the internal terrain with the most powerful nutrients that also keeps you in a fasted state. So you couldn't possibly consume enough nutrients, but it's keeping you in that state of apoptosis, which is cellular death of cells that aren't serving you. So ZenCleanz Light Seed and Mycelia, they're 2 liquid enzymes that look like a wine bottle. It's about a wine bottle. It is a wine bottle serving size. It's 750 mils. And what they do, they're 2 liquids, and I recommend one or the other. You can go onto their website and you can look at the benefits of both. And you can decide if you want to lean into one of these. So what I recommend is that you get one and throughout the month, you're going to take 3 servings of it a day. So a serving is about a shot glass full, and you mix it with warm water. And throughout your day, you just have that. You can do it on your fasting days. You can do it on your fueling days. Either way, you just take it away from food because you want the enzymes. They act like little Pac-Man that go through the body systemically and they clean up the sludge and the gunk and they nourish function of the body at that cellular level. So less bloated. So I'll just read the outcomes. So you're going to have improved cognition, sustained energy, less inflammation, better fat loss, more stable glucose. And so if you light seed is something you might want to lean into. With mycelia, you're optimizing the microbiome, gut repair, communication of how your body breaks down food and improves nutrient absorption. And then there's two major cleanses that I highly recommend that everyone leans into. One is the gut cleanse and one is the liver cleanse. The liver cleanse is called the forgive cleanse for a reason. As much as these are physical resets, they are the biggest emotional resets that they're huge in emotional resets. If you've ever explored Chinese medicine, we've got certain heavy emotions that sit in our body, and we're paving way for the lightness and more positive, uplifting emotions, higher vibration emotions, and cleansing and purging the heavy, low vibration emotions that keep us stuck in the past or bringing our past to our future. Does that make sense? So I recommend either one bottle of mycelia or light seed, and you can either lean into the liver cleanse, the gut cleanse, and I can show you how to do this over a 3-day period, or you can break them up individually. Or there's something called the rainbow cleanse, which includes the gut cleanse, the liver cleanse, and a bottle of Hygieia, which is another liquid enzyme bottle that looks like a wine bottle. So I'm going to come over, open up my chat here. Did everyone get a screenshot of that? I'm going to share it in Harmonium, and in anyone that RSVP'd for this, I will send it out with the recording. So don't stress too much if you didn't get a chance to look at it or if it's hard to read because it was so big. I'm going over to the chat box. And if you could just pop in one word of encouragement to yourself or to someone else or to what you're going to work on for the next 7 days and what we'd like to revisit when we pop on next Wednesday. I would greatly appreciate that to hear from you and see what's landing. Woohoo! Jackie, who had to, oh, she's here. She 1 hour and she'll do her 72-hour fast. And oh my gosh, Jackie, that's amazing. Is that your first 72-hour fast? Feel free to unmute yourself if you want.
No, I did it last year as well this time. So it's my second.
Amazing. And so you're 1 more hour to go. And how are you planning on breaking it? And are you going to just keep going if you feel great, or what's going on?
No, I have plans to break it at 3 o'clock. I brought everything to work with me. So my first step is to do the bone broth. I mean, I'm going to follow all the recommendations that Mindy has recommended.
Fantastic. I'm so proud of you. And I mean, you should be so proud of yourself so what was your biggest challenge with that? Or was it emotional, mental, physical? What, sleep?
Sleep definitely, which I find it very strange. The first night I slept really good, so I was very excited about that. But the last 2 nights I've been very restless. So I think it has everything to do with the dawn effect that you were mentioning.
Yeah.
I think it,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I just think, I think my sugar spikes when I'm sleeping, and that's what causes me to become arousable. And I just can't get in a space to where I can fall back asleep pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's totally normal. Dr. Mindy touched on that today on her live call. 75,000 people RSVP'd to that. It's so magical doing it in community, and that's why I'm building this. So please feel free, if this is resonating with you, share it with your tribe. It's free. So anyway, and then yes, so Dr. Mindy touched on the restlessness. So just so you know, remember why we sleep. We sleep to repair, right? And so because you're in a state of repair 24/7, because your body's really spending all its energy repairing, you don't need as much sleep. So that's also a reason why you might be restless trying to sleep.
Right. The one thing I will, that I have noticed, to be honest, is I've been very good about doing the fast that you have recommended that we start leaning into. And I think that's one of the biggest benefits I had during this fast is that my blood sugar came down pretty quickly. and my ketones actually went up very quickly. So I was happy about that.
Yeah, that's great because sometimes it takes, if we're more insulin resistance, it takes longer to get into ketosis, and then we really struggle on that front end. So thank you for bringing that up. So yeah, that's a thing. And but I will say you can lean into like a tablespoonful of sauerkraut or something if you're just feeling starving. But often we need just a healthy state changer, whether that's putting on your favorite song and dancing like no one's watching, humming your favorite song. Um, we often lean into, you'll notice the relationship you have with food because it's more of a mental game than anything, because our body can really survive without food for an extended period of time.
Right.
But it's getting into that state of ketosis where we're starting to thrive and our brain kicks in and our neurotransmitters kick in and we start to thrive in that state. But getting there can be difficult if you haven't flexed that metabolic switch much. So thank you for mentioning that. That intermittent fasting was good training wheels for that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Um, Veronica, I noticed you unmuted yourself. Did you want to add something? I know you're probably might be at work as well. I so Melanie says she's going to lean into the 421.
Hi, can you hear me? I don't really know how to use Zoom. Can you hear
That's
me?
okay. I can hear you. Yeah,
Oh,
we can
great,
hear
great,
you.
great. Coincidentally, I did a fast. I mean, it's a liquid fast. I've had coffee and teas and water. And I'm going to try to wait till tomorrow. And then I use castor oil every night on my face.
It's
I'm
so
going to
good
start
for
putting it
the
on my
face.
liver
Yeah, and
and do it. Yes.
wonderful. You know,
Oh, thank you.
you're so welcome. And I'm glad you brought that up. So when I finish massaging I put like okay, a lot of the times when you do castor oil packs, they say soak the pack with castor oil. Don't do that. It's just a mess. It's stupid. And it's a waste of castor oil. I put a quarter size in my palm.
Hi there.
Oh, Veronica, if you don't mind muting yourself. I don't know. Okay, perfect. So, and then I massage it over my liver, my lower right rib cage area underneath those floating ribs. And then I put a little bit in my belly button. That's Ayurveda for grounding. And then I'll take the excess, and if I need more, I'll get more. I'll wipe it over my eyelids. This is really good for vision. Wipe it over my brows. Great for regrowing your eyebrows, and it's great for lashes. And then even another Ayurveda tip is to put a little bit like on your nostrils there, and then very grounding. You can put a little bit, just having your fingertips moist with the oil. It's not pouring it in your ears, but it's just kind of putting it in your ears. This is all very grounding, good for the nervous system, good for deep night's rest and sleep and repair. So maybe, Jackie, you can try that to help with sleep. Start sleeping with your castor oil pack on. And
I have a question for you.
yeah.
So I have everything and it's great. I've done the castor oil in the past. The I don't know what you call them, the wraps or whatever you use to kind of cover up the castor oil. What do you call that? I'm
A
sorry, I'm
liver
drunk.
pack or a gut, yeah.
Whatever the material is that you apply over the castor oil, they don't fit properly. So they're very uncomfortable. Do you have one that you recommend? I'm
Well,
a,
I do use the Queen of Thrones one, and basically it's gonna cut. I'll stand up, but it's going to cover it's gonna cover this. I put it like this to the side. Does that make sense? So it covers this area,
yeah.
and it's gonna cover my belly button too, and it's gonna cover my liver. So I just, I don't get crazy with the castor oil pack and put it everywhere. I only use like a quarter size, like I said, and I massage it in, and it mostly absorbs in, and then it's like my skin's glistening with the castor oil pack oil, and then I just cover it up. So does that?
Yeah, I have to find something different. They're too big and bulky. It's like one size fits all, and it's just it doesn't fit me properly, so it's uncomfortable when I sleep.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe play with the placement of it. Maybe you have it more centered, or is it, because I know you're tiny, is it wrapping around your whole entire waist?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just bought a cheap one off Amazon, so I'll have to look at some reviews and see if I can
Yeah.
find something
The
better.
Queen of Throne one is not inexpensive, but it's worth it. I wash it probably, honestly, I don't wash it as frequently as I probably should. I air dry it. Um, but the other thing is that you want to make sure there's no dyes or plastics in the material because castor oil is so it'll pull whatever it's with. You just want it, clean cotton, not dyed. So
Yeah.
that's why I trust Queen of Thrones.
Okay, can you get that off Amazon or do you have to go
Yep,
directly to it? Okay, cool. Thank you.
you're welcome. So 4-2-1 rule, pull 13 or 15-hour fast. If you want to plug in a 17-hour fast, have a look at the ZenCleanz website. You can use code ELEVATE for a discount. It's an investment in your health. The Rainbow Cleanse is a great one if you just want to get that. And I can teach you how to break it up if you can't do it over 7 days. And we can plug it in over your 30-day roadmap for the month of January. But like I said, every month we're going to lean into a gut and liver reset, and we're gonna layer in the ZenCleanz system. They do have free shipping. I think it's over if you spend $550, it's free shipping. But I just can't stress enough on how nourishing and powerful it is. I know Delphine, if you're still there, you've done the Rainbow Cleanse before, and Rachel's not here, but she's done it. I know Jackie has done some of it, and if anyone wants to share how that helped them, I'm always open to it. But
Well, I think I loved it. I loved every bit of it. I think I did all of them. How often would you say we should redo those?
so I think that the 7-day gut, or at least a 1-day liver and gut cleanse quarterly. Um, if you're doing it for the first time, they recommend 3 to 4 times before you get to the bottom of your liver and gut buildup. Um, every time I've done it, I've had mountains of gallstones and fatty liver deposits and liver flukes, and I've probably done 5 liver flushes over like 2 or 3 years, and it never ceases to amaze
Just keeps
me.
coming, huh?
Yeah. So, I mean, our livers are constantly doing a lot of work. So I just think I've done fewer gut cleanses, and every time I always release plaque. So, um, and no two cleanses have been the same. The first time I did it, Guy and I did the gut cleanse together. He slept like a baby, and I was in pain, doubled over, like with gas pains and cramps. And I just wished it would come out either end. And it took a while. And he was a fast mover and released things, and he was hunky dory. And I was just like, really? So you just never know. And then the second time I did the gut cleanse, I was fine. I didn't have a lot of discomfort, but I did a lot of releasing of the physical plaque. And then like I said, it's both also emotional. So you get more in touch with your body. Um, give yourself permission to let go of what's not serving. The forgiveness, it's called the liver cleanse is called the forgive cleanse for a reason. So, yeah. And then as far as the complete ZenCleanz system, it's every organ system. So you're optimizing your internal terrain from the inside out, from your gut, your liver, the lungs, the lymph and blood, and the kidneys. So I recommend that once a year, going through the whole system once a year, depending on your toxic bucket load. Some people might want to do it twice a year, like summer and winter. But I do recommend quarterly gut and liver flushes, just maintenance and optimization. And then I recently did my age code test, as you guys know, some of you might know. There's other tests as well, like the Eval test, True Diagnostics, that looks at, I don't know if I think they do one of each organ system. And then I learned that my lungs and my kidneys, no, my lungs, and even though I've done so many liver cleanses, my lungs and my liver were the ones that were more taxed than the rest of my body. So then I just recently did another lung cleanse, and I did one in July, and I just did one last month. So end of November, early December, I finished up my second lung cleanse, and that's a 30-day reset, and you don't have to do it in a fasted state, but it's just 3 tonics a day. And you notice that you're purging more from your sinuses, and you're coughing up more, and you're just feeling lighter in the chest. And those emotions with the lungs are grief, sadness, and loss. Tend to sit on our chest and have us shallow breathing and more susceptible to the environment. So that's going to be my personal journey, is leaning into the lung cleanse like twice a year because of knowing that's my weakness. And then I also layer in my Healy frequencies with that. And I look at my genetics as well, and I'm optimizing at that level as well. So yeah, leaning into my lung meridian frequencies and my breath work, free tools, amazing breath work. One of my goals actually is to increase my lung capacity so that my breaths per minute are decreasing rather. So Naturally, we probably have 15 to 20 breaths per minute, but I really, really would like to move that to 10 to 15 breaths or 10 breath, like around 15 breaths a minute. I think something like that. Anyway, so I really appreciate you all showing up today. This recording will go out to you to revisit. I highly recommend and appreciate if you share with your friends because we do it with community, we tend to have a domino effect and a butterfly effect, so the collective elevates together. And even sometimes with our loved ones, I would share this information, and I think I shared my husband last year. He's always seen me do these fasts, and last year with Dr. Mindy's 3-day fast in January, he leaned into it. He said, "Oh, I'm just going to do 24 hours." I'm like, "That's great." He ended up going 63 hours, played golf 2 days in a row, and felt great. And then and he didn't need to hear it from me. He just somehow, hearing some of the things from someone else can land in a better way than hearing it from our loved ones. So, sometimes uh, that's better received than us harping on our loved ones, if you know what I mean. Okay. Well, does anyone want to unmute and just share one word of wisdom or that they're going to carry forward every day to keep motivated until we check in next time? All right. Well, with that being said,
Health, I guess.
sorry, say it again.
Oh, I was just thinking health. Good
Yeah,
health.
I love it. Health. And what does health mean to you, Veronica?
Feeling even better than I do. Living longer, pain-free. I don't know. Uh, I'm shy, so I'm I'm gonna unmute now. I'm gonna
Oh,
mute.
well, thank you for unmuting and sharing that because, yes, health is a broad term and feeling better than you ever have and longevity are great expressions of vitality. So thank you for sharing.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay. Well, I love you all. Thank you again for showing up for yourself and for the collective. And I can't wait to see you next Wednesday. These are free, so please share. And then also our Monday Harmonium at 10 o'clock calls. They're recorded if you can't make the live. This last Monday was super powerful. We did some somatic exercises to move the energy. And let's see what else. And we have our frequency shifts 11:11 every day in Harmonium. Those are also, I believe, open to the community. I will be doing Tuesdays moving forward because our amazing leader, fearless leader, Delphine, is embarking on a wonderful adventure to Portugal. And so, just to help with the time zone load, I'm going to be picking up our 11:11 frequency shifts. So I'm really excited about that. We are going to be diving into the soul alignment every Tuesday rather, every Tuesday at 11:11 Pacific, and then Wednesdays at 1. And I just love you all. This is so fun for me, and um, I love to come together and have these conversations because they're important and empowering, and it's all about trusting your own body and surrendering to how powerful we can be. So thank you all, and till next time. Mwah.
Thanks, Trish.
You're welcome.